Hello, everybody. Welcome to BanterFlix. You are joined by myself with Shmama for another episode of Movie Screen, the cosplay scene. Um, Still working on the name, but it's basically to do with cosplay and movies and for those that we love. For those of you listening, you cannot see today, but I am joined by a fabulously sexy man on the other end of this video. I will let him introduce himself, but for now, let's just call him Hello, Indiana Jones.
Hello. How's everybody doing? All right?
Oh, I'm sure they're doing fine. And for those watching the video, they're probably doing much better that they can see your face.
Not so sure about that.
For everybody listening, he's a good-looking lad. You can check him out on Instagram. We'll have the links later. But for anyone who isn't watching, and for those who are, Stephen is dressed currently as Indiana Jones, complete with the jacket and the fedora. Fedora, that's the right name for the hat?
That's the right one, yeah.
Yeah. Now, there's something special with the hat. Do you want to explain that to me? Or tell you what, before we do that, tell me a bit about yourself.
Okay. My name's Stephen Finch. I got into cosplay about 4 years ago when I just happened to be driving not far from where I live. Is quite a big Comic Con, and there was a giant Stay Puft Marshmallow Man outside a university, and I had no idea why it was there. Researched it the day after, found out it was a Comic Con. A year later, well, no, about 6 months later, knew it was on again. Got dressed up as a Wolverine and went to my first Comic Con and then never looked back. I was still very nervous, and I think everyone goes through this. I had my full get-up. I was dressed as Wolverine. I had the jacket. I had my hair up, gelled like within an inch of its life. The clothes on. But in the car, I had a change of clothes. I had a pair of clippers to shave my mutton chops off, just in case nobody was in cosplay. I was going to go back to get kind of.
You had a backup. You had a backup plan.
Yeah, I had a backup plan. I walked through the door. Everyone was really incredible. Everyone embraced me as Wolverine. I've never looked back.
Brilliant. So that's how you got into the cosplay. But what about you? What about you? Who are you? Like, what are you like? You have to get into all specifics of your age, that there stuff.
Well,
but talk a bit about you.
I am 40 in 2 weeks' time on the 22nd of March, which is quite fitting in the fact that Raiders of the Lost Ark is also 40 this year. So, for me, I've just been kind of pretty much a movie geek my whole life. I used to sit up watching movies. If I hadn't watched 2 movies a day, then there was something wrong. I would put on a movie at 11 o'clock at night and finish my 3rd or 4th movie when I could start hearing the birds, because I used to just love. I was at an age then where I could stay up all night, wouldn't affect me. I could stay up till 5 a.m, get up 4 hours later, go to school, no problem, and this and the other.
Then you hit the 30s, and that shit goes downhill very quick.
Just gets a little bit tougher. And then 40, like, 7:30 off to bed.
Yeah, for those who are not able to see this, Finch gave away the age saying he's near 40 and he loves Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's also turning 40 this year. But behind Stephen, we also have a very special 80s retro outfit, which is another sort of nod to one of his favourite films, which we'll also discuss. The Fabulous Superman, as done by the one and only Christopher Reeves. So what has you drawn to that as well? Like, I know you would be in both cosplays if you could, but what's the appeal of these 2 characters for you?
Well, it was very strange for me because I was kind of thinking about it when we talked about having this, me talking and movies, and I realised it was my mum. It was my mum is the reason I'm into my movies, because
she let you stay up.
Yeah, well, I grew up watching movies with her, like, the classic The Cowboys with John Wayne and Errol Flynn movies as Robin Hood and all those type of movies. I grew up watching those. So when I was a boy, when I was very, very young, she would be into things like Indiana Jones. So she would watch Indiana Jones. Obviously, it was a little bit young for me, but when I was about 4 or 5, I used to watch Star Wars. And I watched Star Wars like hundreds and hundreds of times. And then Indiana Jones was a little bit darker, but as I was getting about maybe 5, I think Temple of Doom was okay with, which was strange because that was the darker one.
Yeah.
Out of the whole anthology, quadrilogy.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. It was
out of the box set.
The box set. I didn't know whether I should bring in the newer one.
No, we'll forget that one.
So then I would watch that, and my mum said, "Oh, there's a film here called Superman." do you want to watch it? I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch it, because I knew of Superman. I had one of the comic books, and I watched it, and I instantly believed it was 100% real. It wasn't fake. I saw a man fly, and that was the tagline in the movie. Richard Donner's tagline was, "You'll believe a man can fly." And I genuinely, as a kid, did that. When he takes off, he goes through the turning door, changes, flies off. I was absolutely done. That was it. I was completely smitten with the character, what he was about, and he gets like a bad rap compared to like Batman, or Batman's way cooler. But I think people miss Superman.
Batman is just a rich orphan.
Yeah. I've always said, if the Wayne family had turned left when he come out of the theater and they hadn't got killed, Batman wouldn't exist.
Exactly. You know, and so if they lost all their money, in the Gotham gambling or whatever, they would also not be there. So, you know, Superman owns his shit.
Yeah, it was, for me, just seeing him, and then it was kind of, my mum said to me as we were watching the movie, I was like, oh, I love this. I remember thinking, I was only young. Mummy, I love this. Mummy, I love this. She said, wait till the end. Superman winks at me. I was like, what? Yeah, every time he winks at me. As a kid, I was like, what do you mean? Superman winks? And, you know, he does the space thing, and he turns and, oh, no, he smirks, not winks, smirks at me. And he does the space thing and smirks. She was like, that wasn't in the original until I asked him to do it. What? She sold this.
And at what stage did you realize that was bullshit?
About 24, 25. No, so she totally embraced the magic of movies. You know, she idolized like John Wayne, and I saw kind of her passion for his movies. Even the ones that, like, he once played Genghis Khan. You know, it was just one of those type. He was just an uber presence on screen, and I got that with Harrison Ford, and I got that with Christopher Reeve.
Yeah,
and that was the one thing. I know people that were lucky enough to meet Christopher Reeve, and I said I can't not meet Harrison Ford, because I would be desperate, because I think Christopher Reeve would probably, if he was alive, be doing the con circuit now.
Yeah, definitely.
I genuinely think he probably would be. I know Harrison Ford said he's only ever done like one Comic Con. But that would be the ultimate for me, without a shadow of a doubt. So yeah, it was actually, my mum got me into movies, and the kind of the adventure and the spirit of what a movie could do, and it takes you from whatever's going on out of your kind of whatever your life. For 2 hours, you can just snap into a world of make believe, and that's what that for movies for me.
And then it was a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that got you into cosplay.
Yeah, and Stay.
Honest to goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I've actually, with a friend of ours, Ben, he's helping me get together a Ghostbusters costume, because I think it's probably time, because of that, to kind of like a nod of the hat, tip of the head, whatever, to actually having Stay Puft was the reason I got to cons. So I should try and get a picture.
You need it, yeah. The Michelin Man.
Yeah, yeah. So that was it, really. So.
See, I could even be part of that. I could even be one of the female Ghostbusters. You know, I would prefer to be Janine, though, if I was totally honest. You know, hello, Ghostbusters. What
do you want? Brilliant.
What are you doing?
She's in the new one, isn't she? I think she's actually in the new one.
Yes.
Brilliant.
She is fabulous. So she is. No, but for those who aren't watching, the original suit, obviously not the one worn by Chris Maurice, but a screen accurate cosplay, is right behind Stay at the minute, and it is amazing. You heard me mention a bit earlier about the fedora that Finch is wearing. There's actually something I didn't know, which Finch was great enough to educate me on when it came to the costumes, about how screen accurate he makes this costume to the movies, and the fedora is a big part of that, and the jacket, from what I remember you saying. So if you can sort of explain it to me, what the differences are in the films and stuff, so you know why it's so important for that accuracy.
Yeah, I think everybody who's into cosplay or likes a particular character, they'll have a level. We'll all have a level of a character that we love or adore. And I never realized, I'd watch Indiana Jones and I'd see Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, he doesn't change. He said his hat looks slightly different, but that was just scene to scene, is what I always thought. And then when you kind of start delving deeper and deeper, he has a different hat for every movie. He has a different jacket for every movie. And I was like, well, he doesn't. He said, no, he genuinely has a different hat for every movie, a different jacket. I was like, are you sure? Like, I've watched Indiana Jones for like 20 odd years, And I've actually, weirdly enough, I've got one of my first hats. So you can see the bust behind me here. I've got a life-size bust of Harrison Ford, and that was one of my first hats. And it's so poor, but it's the only one that actually fits that bust, so I've kept it. But for Indiana Jones, for example, like a fact about Indiana Jones, and I didn't know this, I only learned this like a few years back, is that the second movie is actually set after the first. And I was like, well, that's not true because it's set here, there. They said, no, it's actually set after the first movie. So his costume should have changed from Temple of Doom and got worse for Raiders of the Lost Ark. And that's kind of what they did. But in terms of the hats, he has, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, he has a very narrow pinch on his hat. And he's actually, people who've gone to the kind of detail that some Indiana Jones cosplayers do, actually quite a few of them do, is that Indiana Jones' hat was that bad in the first one. It's all wonky. It's not straight. So the pinch is off center. So you actually have, that's it on straight now. If you can't, if it's on the video, the actual pinch is way off the front, and you turn it because it creates a dip here at the front, like his. Yeah. And there's the company, I got all my hats luckily from a company called Stephen Jones, and they're based out of Argentina, and they are incredible. They were basically two guys that have just decided they wanted to make a fedora as best they can, and it's such a wonderful story with a fantastic group of guys. So I've actually got all three, well, the three movies that exist because Crystal Skull doesn't, and I've actually got this. No comment. This one I'm wearing, you can see, it's got a real tight pinch at the front. I'm going real geeky, and it's curled here and it dips at the front, and that's the Raiders. So this is the Cairo Street Raiders look. So it's full of dust, but you can't quite see on the video. And then this one,
well, those aren't looking as hot.
My Indiana Jones hair, you see. This one is Temple of Doom. So instantly you can see that it's not pinched as much at the front. It's quite a lot more straight, and you have to actually pull it down a little bit and kind of work it a little bit to make it look a bit damaged. So like in Temple of Doom. And then, this is Last Crusade. This is Temple of Doom. So this one is slightly less pinched, curled up a little bit, but it's actually kind of a smooth hat. It's not, and then it pinches in. It goes kind of tapers in at the top, like in Temple of Doom. And I was like, it's the same hat. Is that nope, far from it. So I've actually, lucky enough, I've got a Last Crusade one, I've got a Temple of Doom I'm wearing, and then I've got a Raiders of the Lost Ark. And even though,
and then Crystal Skull does not count at all.
I've no idea what you're talking about. And they're all incredibly well-made hats. And I'm so fortunate that they all fit me well. And the beauty of the guys at Stephen Jones is
he's not giving himself a big head here, people,
No, but they made one, and he just said it didn't quite work out, one of the blocks. This from Argentina. I'm thinking, oh my Lord, I hope they're not bad. They were incredible. Sent me a brand new hat out within a few weeks, prioritized me and all sorts. And just when you get customer service like that, I don't mind shouting about them and how amazing. And then I'm quite fortunate that I'm going to be ordering a jacket from them in the next few months, probably towards my 40th birthday.
So you've spent a lot on the hat, and stuff like. So, but what was it about Indiana himself that made you want to be him when you grow up? Because I know we're all there when we're kids. I want to be Superman. I want to be a princess. I want to be a tree. I don't know. I want to be Indiana Jones. What was it about him that drew you to him? Is this for cosplay? What was it about his character?
He's flawed. That's what I like about him. He's not perfect. He's not James Bond. James Bond, I love James Bond for what it is. James Bond is tongue-in-cheek, got a bit bad for the Pierce Brosnan ones, even though I think Pierce Brosnan was an incredible Bond. The movies that he were in were just so far-fetched. But it was, he said it took all the way to the third film for him to say, he's like, I haven't got a clue, I'm just making it up as I go along. And it's like that's brilliant. The idea that somebody's just almost in over his head from the get-go, and that's it. And he just kind of works his way through. And there's that kind of funny thing where there's the joke, I don't know if you ever heard it, is that all the Indiana Jones movies would still happen, even if Indiana Jones wasn't in them. And it's quite funny, really, because there's an element of truth to it.
Yeah, there's very much truth in that. You know?
He if they'd have found the Ark without him, they would have done the same thing, and then the Ark would have been left on a desert island. The same thing.
But then this is the thing: if Harrison Ford was not there as Indiana, then where in the hell would Sean Connery's character have come in? We needed him for that at least.
Oh my lord! It's very weird actually. That Temple of Doom was always my movie. The character look was always Raiders, but Temple of Doom was always my movie. I've always loved. Willie Scott. She just screamed. There was a big uproar. Kind of women were saying that she was just not a character that women wanted to kind of promote and things. And I don't know what they're saying. She was like a damsel, but there was something charming and almost made him more masculine in a way. And I kind of understand why they did it. But I always loved Willie Scott. Was always my woman out the indie movies. It wasn't Marion, and everyone said, "Oh, it's Marion." It was always Marion. And for me, it wasn't.
Now, which one was she? Was she the blonde German or the brunette Bada?
Yeah,
she was the blonde German.
I got given this as a gift. This is one of the film cells. That's Willie there. You see it?
Yes. For those of you who can't see, he's showing us like a film cell thing with the blonde villainess in it. Kate, she wasn't really a villain. She wasn't. No. I had this discussion with Amy before about villains. Some of them aren't villains. They're just ball busters who want to get their own way.
Of course, she's fantastic because really she's the way she's a performer. She's a singer. She's used to being treated like royalty, and then she gets just sent on this wild journey with what she says a lion tamer, and has to go on this adventure in India with no food and all sorts. And it's just there's something about that. She was almost like she was in over her head. So that's why I kind of liked it. Indy was in over his head all the time, and so was she. So for me,
she was a brilliant villain. I just love the part with Sean Connery and Harrison Ford where they both realize they both have had like
that's in Last
their wicked way. Ooh.
There's a scene basically where he's like, "How do you know she was a Nazi?" And he goes, "Talks in her sleep." And Harrison looks and he goes, just gives the tiniest smirk like that, and he's like, "Wow, okay."
You'd wonder if that was like scripted or that was just
That's just two icons on screen. They don't have to act a lot. They don't. If you're that good at it, you don't have to force it. And I think you see actors now, a lot of actors now that do force it a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Other like Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson, those type of they're doing the character. Tom Hanks, they're doing the character. You're buying it or you're not, and it's that.
Yeah.
And that was just, I think Last Crusade has slowly become my favourite just because of the dynamic between Sean and Harrison.
It'll always be my favourite, like I have to say. It's just because I have I get to you, but I had an obscene crush on Sean Connery from Darby O'Gill. Not so much the Bond ones, but he will to me always be they're the only Bond films ever watched where the money penny were ones with him in it, and I sort of stopped when he didn't do it anymore. And he will just forever be the heartthrob to me, like even when he's that age, even when he's that old, he's definitely my would but shouldn't guy for sure. Okay. This is just turning into, I think last time I spoke to Amy about the fact that I would totally do Thanos, and I'm totally on a Sean Connery kick here. Like this should just be who would people not do, but Gabby would.
I think the beauty of Sean Connery though, even like he in Highlander. He's called the Spaniard. Right, Highlander, he's doing the same as this. Spaniard, you're supposed to be a Spanish. You're supposed to have some type of Spanish twin. Anything. No,
but he's Sean Connery, so it doesn't matter.
Doesn't mean it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the slightest.
Just need to find a cosplayer. Just need to find a cosplayer to do.
There's a guy out there that is. I'm actually putting together an Indiana Jones shoot. And brilliantly, I've got my friend Kevin. He's going to be short round. My friend Jack said he might do Salah.
Oh, I know Kevin. Yes,
you know Kev. Yeah. And I've got Jack. He said he'll do Salah. And then my friend Shannon said she's going to do Elsa from Last Crusade. And then I've got to rope a few other people in to do a few of the other characters. They don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and then I've actually got a guy that I met at Liverpool Comic Con. Actually, he does a Sean Connery Untouchables, but he also sometimes grows out his beard and he's looking now for the costume to be actually Junior doing Henry Jones Senior.
You named yourself after the dog.
Be amazing. Yeah,
it's a dog.
You named the dog. You're named after the dog. That's it. I've actually quite fortunate that I got to meet John Rhys Davies. I've got to meet him twice actually, and he's just a wonderful human being. He's so well spoken, and he knows why you're there.
Yeah.
As soon as you say, if you said to him, like, please start talking Lord of the Rings, he would go straight into Lord of the Rings quotes and all that type of thing. And that he was amazing to just spend a bit of time talking to him. As Connor's finished, people just stood there, the tables are being folded down, and just spent a few minutes talking to him. Wonderful.
So here, Andy from Monopoly, if you happen to be listening to this,
yeah,
we're dropping hints. Absolutely. If any of you listening, if anyone listening want him or any of those indie guys to appear.
Yeah, Jonathan, I met Short Round and I nearly got upset. And actually, a friend of mine, I wasn't going to meet him, and he had no cash. And it was one of those cons where, you want to spend money, but there's no cash machine. And it was before everyone was taking cards, contactless. And it was, and my friend just said, pay me back here 20 quid. And I went over, met Short Round to have a selfie. And as soon as I walked, he was like, but Indy, I love you. Hey, lady, call him Dr. And he just went through all the lines he'd said in the movie. And I was like, whoa, he's no idea how much it means to me. I've got to play it cool because I'm dressed as Indiana Jones. And
is someone recording? Is someone recording this moment?
Absolutely. All the stars that were on the tables all stood up to listen to us going back and forth as Indy and Short Round. It was an unreal moment. But my costume was terrible.
But it's not the point. You knew who you were. You knew who you were. He knew who you were, and that's what matters at the end of the day with cosplay. I think we discussed this as well last time, and while it's a bit of a deviation from the movie thing, it is sticking to cosplay where accuracy is one thing. Accuracy is brilliant, but just need your apple now. For those of you who don't know, he's just put on the Indiana glasses where he eats the apple and he looks all sexy as the professor. But the accuracy is one thing, but it's not all about that. I mean, what's your opinion on that there when it comes to cosplay and stuff?
I've said like I'll explain it. Like one of the things I've said quite a few times. I don't care how anyone gets their costume. I don't care if it's accurate or not accurate. From my point of view, I want to do accuracy, but I do it not in a way like, oh, look how accurate mine is. I do it because I want to put the detail. It's like I like to paint. So I like to paint, and I don't just want to paint. I want to go into the fine details of something and develop it. And that's the same with costumes. My Indiana Jones, first ever costume Indiana Jones, that wasn't my grand did for me. The first costume I ever did Indiana Jones was probably about 12 years ago, 15 years ago. And I've done that. So it's taken me like 15 years of getting parts. I just kind of a few bits, like the holster and gun for one movie is different to the holster and gun in another movie and all this type of thing. And I've collected all these things over the years. I couldn't afford them when I first started getting into cosplay. Yeah. Luckily, having a decent job, then I could start affording things. But I made my first holster. I made out of flooring. It was vinyl flooring, and I got a template offline, put it down, drew around it, hand sewn it, glued it. It looked terrible close up, but when you was walking around, everyone thought I had the Indiana Jones. See, this say people are going to be watching this and listening to this, and they'll not realize that the costume, the outfits he wears are so different. Because I think until I spoke to you, I had never paid that much attention to the difference in the outfits. So it's amazing seeing someone spend that much attention on the detail, not just with that, but with a lot of your cosplays. Like, absolutely. Because I think I discussed this with Amy as well last month. She also does work for Healthcare CIC, the charity. Healthbox, CIC, where you guys basically get into your cosplays and you go and see people who really need the uplifting at the minute. Yeah. I know accuracy is quite important for that magical reason, there's a difference. Like I've said, cosplay is for everybody. You should be able to do cosplay anything you want, and if you believe you're the character, you're that character. I don't care whether your costume isn't right. Oh, it's not that expensive. Oh, I just made it. Oh, I don't think I'm kind of in the right shape to do that. All that type of stuff. Be the character because you want to be that character. Doesn't matter about anything. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then when we got like the health box stuff, when we go out with health box, I always try to get the accuracy up because I want the kind of the make believe that my mum kind of distilled in me. I want kids to go, wow, I've just seen Superman, I've just seen Batman, I've just seen Wonder Woman. So I always with health box, we're kind of very lucky that we're like a not for profit organization, and we do lots of things from kind of counselling right through to just helping people out, like food banks. We organise and arrange food banks. So we do all sorts. One of the elements that I was brought in for is to do the events. And the events, like you said, going out into some deprived areas where kids haven't got anything. They've not got anything. They, they've
especially during lockdown, I'm sure it's been hard, especially for people. And,
we found it really restrictive because we've not been able to go out as much as we want. The first lockdown, we were like, because you're allowed out in sixes. We could when you could go out in six, we just keep our distance and walk down, and we just basically walk down the middle of the street at some of the like badly affected areas. And kids, it was just unreal. Kids and waving at windows, wanting to come out, and parents having to stop them. And that was kind of an element we knew we'd have to do, but we ended up taking like a couple of the PCSOs to make sure that they could police it, so it wasn't us kind of having to tell these kids.
Yeah. Because you don't want to be the bad guy, like you don't want to be you don't want to be Superman going, no,
you're not allowed to come because that's very tough. A kid wants to come, can have a high five, and you can't. It's really, really. But we knew we had a responsibility as an organisation to say, we're coming out to have a good time, but we can't put anybody in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And we're very fortunate that we apply for funding to be able to do these things. So like it. Because obviously we're not for profit, we can't make money to kind of we apply for funding from various different companies to allow us to do this, and luckily we get the funding because they know we're trying to do it for the right reasons. And what we do is, because we're going to put out a roll call for people that want to come and volunteer and do a few events and stuff. And we're even considering doing potentially a couple of Comic Cons to try and do like a roll call of people, because and it's not in like in a horrible way, but we want to get people that not just are in cosplay but can be the character. You know? I've got a couple of friends that have got really strong accents, and we are kind of wide because my accent's quite. I have a Manchester slightly Scouse sometimes, kind of, and I can't do that. I have to. Hi, I'm Superman. I have to put on the American accent, and I've got a few friends that have got really strong accents. And we always kind of wind her up about like this James, my mate James, who does Brummy, and he does Batman. And I said, dude, we can't have Batman, mate. What are you doing? And we kind of have this laughing joke about it. So and even he's embracing that kind of, I am Batman. And I've got, because when you obviously Amy you spoke to, Amy can do a very good kind of well-spoken, because she's kind of speaks like that. So when she does Wonder Woman, she kind of gets away with just being very well-spoken. I've got a friend, Shannon,
it's like me when I do Merida. Like she is pure Scottish, but as soon as the wig is on, even if it's not the costume, if the wig, I mean, I've come out of a convention, the dress, because my actual dress, I don't know if you have all ever actually seen the thing yet, but it's a corset at the top, so it's not good for driving. So I would take it off, but because my makeup is still Merida, I would leave the wig on and put on a normal t-shirt. And even though I'm casual, like normal person, if anyone, hello, how are you? Talking away like I'm Scottish. You'd swear to God, and the amount of people who don't realize I'm not Scottish shocks them, which is good.
That's good. That is the same way. Like my friend Shannon as well. She's from Kettering, so she says, "Oh, I'm Supergirl." It's like, well, you've got to. You need to be Supergirl. We have a back and forth, and it's become like our kind of group kind of thing to kind of give each other a bit of a. Oh, we're going to.
It's amazing how though. When you're doing the accents, and for anyone listening, it'll be, we should get, I think at Christmas I've planned for all of you to be in costume, like for a mega cosplay roll call thing. But when you're having the conversation in character, it's so amazing how quickly you can stop from being, what's your accent? Like you and I be having a conversation, and then a kid would turn up and it would be like, hello, how are you? I'm okay.
Absolutely.
All right, but then what's the crack, Finch? And it's
absolutely. You just flick back and forth without a shadow of a doubt. I've done it myself. I used to do Batman quite a lot, or Wolverine. And I remember the first time I put the cowl back on, I'd been Wolverine all day, and then about 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, I was going to do a photo shoot, so I went and got my Batman stuff. I come back, and as a kid, I went, "Hey, Bob," it's like, "Dude, you're Batman. I mean, hi, I'm Batman." I was doing my Wolverine. I forgot that I had the cowl on. I was doing my Wolverine voice. So,
well, the good thing is kids don't pay that much attention, thankfully.
But that's it. I will kind of be putting like something out there from our company's point of view, and of trying to get people that really want to be a character. They want to get into it. And kind of. And
it's a good way to help through lockdown. I mean, has cosplay helped you through lockdown and stuff? I mean, through all this madness.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like normally I have like 10, 15 costumes on the go all the time. And lockdown, because cons weren't happening, like my costume work's kind of stopped. But I'm now just doing a few bits for work. And that's weird for me because I normally like having that classic, like I think before HorrorCon, I was up till 20 to 3, finishing my Van Helsing costume.
The con crunch.
The con crunch is there. And because there's no cons, there's no crunch. So I was like, well, it's fine. It's fine. And I've had all this time, and I should have kind of kept up with that. But what I did find is bits and bobs of costumes. I've ordered them. I've done this. Not made massive amounts in terms of cosplay.
Because you have been making props. You have been making some of your own props, haven't you? The 3D printer there you were telling us about.
Yeah. Obviously, it's still indie based on obviously the kind of conversations. But I've been making the Sankara stones, and that's just literally tin foil and clay, oven-based clay, wrapped up. But then at first I was like, this 3D printing cheating and this, that, and the other. But then as soon as I actually started, basically, it's like, no, because the amount of work involved after you do something. So like I've been 3D printing, any Indiana Jones fans know that, the Staff of Ra.
For those of you who can't see it, it's basically the tip of the staff that is currently in front of my face right now. And it is amazing looking.
It's a 3D print one that I've managed to do.
Pretty cool.
And then I 3D printed this, which everyone should know. This is
the Holy Grail.
Looks like the cup of a carpenter.
You need to print one for me. I need one of them. I would be sitting here during my podcast drinking out of it.
Drinking from it. Yeah. So I was very fortunate that I invested in getting a 3D printer. And
can I just say, like, just on a point of that Holy Grail, after Indy got the Grail and Dozy Bint lost it, Dozy bitch, that poor Knight of the Templar, he's like, what am I meant to do now?
Yeah. Just chill now, is it?
What am I meant to do? What the fuck am I meant to do now? Like, what is your purpose?
What do you do? Like, but it's one of those where I think again, like it goes back to kind of how you pull together a costume. I think you put it however you can. If you can afford to buy one, buy one. If you can't, you need to make one. If you can't make one, commission people. I've done plenty of commission for people. I've even helped people who've got something from somebody else and it's needed fixing. I'm not too proud. I'm just trying to help another person.
Yeah.
I think I've answered where I got my not that Superman costume. I'll show you. I've got the other one here.
The Man of Steel one.
Yeah, I've got it. I've been fixing it. You see, there's the man. You can't really see, but I've been fixing it. There's the Man of Steel one. So I've actually been fixing all parts of it. I've actually got a template copied and pasted because I've answered the question where I got it from and how I did this and how I did that probably about 300 times, and I have no issue whatsoever with that. I'm not hiding my secret. If anyone ever sees any of my costumes and wants to know how I've done them, how I did my Wolverine claws, I'll tell. There's no secret. My Wolverine claws. There's loads out there. My Wolverine claws were the ones with that. You can actually see them. You've got a real bad plastic hand on the back normally. Yeah. And I've taken them off. A piece of dowel, put some coat hangers in it, glued it. They rotate. People can always wear them because they move. That was pure luck. You know, they were supposed to not move, but the glue didn't quite set properly. And I'm more than happy to tell anybody like how I do any of my costumes.
See, for anyone listening and watching this, Finch is a good source of contact because if he can't help you, he will at least put you in contact with someone who
Absolutely.
will or who can. I mean,
Yeah.
I know what you mean, because I have said this openly. I do not make anything to do with my costumes whatsoever. My daughter does my makeup. I'm just known for hosting and making sure everybody else is okay. That's my thing, and that's what I will stick with. But if I can do something, like you said, if I can, it's how the community help each other. I think is a brilliant thing. You know, everyone brings it. I spoke about this with Amy. Everyone brings something, different to it. You know, and the thing is, not everybody's inspired by movies. There's a lot of the anime and
the anime. It's like
TV shows.
I don't know. I know a bit of manga because it was out when I was growing up. I love the art more than the content. Like, I loved all the kind of classic He-Man, Thundercats,
She-Ra.
I loved all those type of things because we grew up on them. But like the anime stuff, the Pokemon, I was too old. It passed me by Pokemons and Pikachu.
My brother is a Pokemon fiend. Like, he loves it, and very good few friends of mine are Pokemon hunters. Like you know, I live in a seaside town, so a lot of people are Pokemon hunting, and there's Pokemon stops. And I think I done it for a couple of weeks just to try and get some steps in, but I was getting bored. It's like, have you have you got a Charizard yet? I mean, what in the Christ is a Charizard? Like, I got some orange thing the other week.
Did you get cream for that? I got a Charizard, have you? You go to the doctors.
I have no idea what any of it is. Like, but it's amazing how the community's so big. But like, you have seen me on stage, if an anime or a manga character comes up, I'm like, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this name.
Whatever helps in anything, just write it down for us. Just write it. So try and read it out afterwards, and I know what I'm saying.
You can't just write the name. You need to write the phonic sounds of what it is they're saying. Okay, that's how. And then
so you say that this way. I've done that plenty of times, and that's not me kind of like hating on it in any way, shape, or form.
You want to do the character justice, so
of course, absolutely. I've seen some incredible costumes. I don't know who they are. I think one of my first interactions with someone at a Comic-Con, I thought, wow, that's a brilliant costume. I had no idea what it was. Research. Apparently, it was something to do. It was The Witcher. It was one of the Witcher characters, and I was like, okay. I know, obviously know now, but
you'd be like me. I've still not seen The Witcher, even though it's Henry Cavill Superman. We're still sticking in the 6 degrees of thing there. Way.
I see you did.
I still have not seen it, even though he gets top off in it. But we've done a lot of focus on indie here, so we want to give Superman a bit of a shout out because he is your other hero growing up, and Christopher Reeve, obviously, but it's funny how both films, I think we discussed this before, both films you picked have one that we prefer not to mention nor discuss in the mix.
Oh, you talk about
no slight to Brandon Roth there, but you got screwed with the writing, Ken. But let's go and we'll focus on Henry Cavill and he keeps his top on, so we'll just focus on him for a minute.
I think it's we're kind of going through this whole thing now. It's very strange for me being a Superman. I was always DC over Marvel. We all know Marvel raised the game to a whole different. Like, if you think around DC when it was 70s, late 80s, Batman Returns. That's when DC movies were smashing Marvel movies out of the water. Not even Marvel would not even bother.
No.
But then their comic books were better. I think the artist was better in the comic books and stuff like that. I think, but the what Marvel did that Disney didn't. When Marvel made a bad film, they go, okay, well, the actor seems right to us, so let's get another writer. Thor: Dark World is atrocious.
Oh, is that the one with the eyebrows? That's the one with the.
It's just a shocker of a movie. But what if Disney would have done that? Disney would have. All right, get rid of Thor. It's definitely him. It's not the writers.
Yeah.
It's definitely the Thor character. So get rid of him. We'll get another. Let's bring in Jason Momoa. Now he's going to be Thor. That's the way Disney. That's the way DC did it. Marvel said, oh, let's bring in a different writer. They brought in a different writer for Thor Ragnarok, which at first watching was like, I don't know if I like it. I adore that movie. I absolutely think it's amazing. And DC are going through this whole thing again. They're saying, like, for example, right, Ben Affleck, for me, I love Keaton's Batman. I actually,
Do not attempt to slight the Keaton.
No. I do love Keaton's Batman. I do actually. There's so many good elements about the other Batman movies. I know they're really cheesy, but there is some real nice. I think to get Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey on screen together, spectacular, that's brilliant. But the movies don't quite fully stand up.
Yeah.
And now what DC have done is I thought the first time that I've ever seen a comic book version on screen of Batman was Ben Affleck's. I felt like he was a brawler. I felt like he was this. And then it was in a world where I thought that can be that Batman, the kind of that crosses the line between comic book and movies. And it was the same with Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill, when I saw him as Superman, because I didn't realize he auditioned for the Batman Superman Returns. He actually auditioned, and it was him and Brandon Routh were the final two.
Oh, thank God he didn't get it there. Thank God.
Brandon Routh, I've met him and he's incredible. And if Andy can get him or anyone, he's an incredible human being.
Yeah.
The writing of the film, not so much. But so when Henry Cavill came on screen, I was like, I bought it. I kind of thought, he's got it. He was big. The first thing he did, he took his shirt off. He was like, wow, he looks an incredible. He looks like a Superman. He looks like he should. And then it's like, he's not quite working, so we're going to try this and try that. And there's been kind of this ongoing, like, who can play Clark Kent? And I think you've got the person, and obviously, if you actually know anything about Henry Cavill, he knows the Superman character inside and out.
Yeah.
He knows.
He's a fanatic. He is Encyclopedia Britannica of Superman.
Yeah, he actually knows the history of the character and who he is. And I was like, that, if you've got that, you're already on to a winner, because they can advise you and be part of your journey. It's not just based on what kind of the big wigs studios say. It's actually, if someone's got pride in it, that much pride that they know about it, then give them the opportunity to.
They almost need to get like the Smallville actors who focus very much on Clark, not Superman. Get them guys in to work with the new Superman and sort of like amalgamate them both, and then just throw Tom Welling in there without his top as well.
Really, it's one of those where you kind of. I think it was one of the kind of the big monologue speeches in Kill Bill, is that the reason that Bill likes Superman is because Superman puts on a costume to fit in.
Yeah,
he is Superman. His alter ego is Clark Kent. He pretends to be Clark Kent, to be a human.
He cosplays Clark Kent. His cosplay is Clark Kent.
He is Superman and cosplays Clark Kent to fit in how he thinks society or how he sees a certain element of vulnerability in the society. That's who Clark Kent is. Gone deep there. It's like it's hard in the current situation to buy into. I'll just prove it to you. Look, it's still me. I've just put glasses on.
For those aren't watching and listening on the podcast, he put on a pair of glasses, and surprisingly, I still know it's him.
I've kept the hat on so you could recognise it's still me. And I said, that's the problem with it. There was kind of the make-believe of that, and it sounds silly you're watching a film about Superman, but he puts a pair of glasses on and always a different person. And people don't buy that as much. And the way, and the beauty of the way Christopher Reeve did it was his hair was the opposite way, which is random. It was stuck to his head. He shrunk his shoulders down.
He always pushing the glasses up and
pushed his glasses up, and he became a different person. And
it's even the way he it's not that he hunched; it's just that he sort of
he
shrunk himself a little bit.
Sat down. He just made himself less big. And they've not explored that because Henry Cavill's the human side, the connectable side for people. The fact that Superman, I've always said the reason I love Superman is he unfortunately has to turn down 1 million cries for help every single day.
Yeah.
How much does that mess with your head as a human being, or as anybody? That's every day he hears someone cry for help, someone needs his help, and he has to just let people kind of find their true hero to kind of get out of situations. Yeah. And that was always what kind of resided with me in terms of him as a character, kind of having to be fake in terms of having to be a human, having to kind of fit in with society.
Yeah.
And I think
we discussed this as well last time. I think Superman was okay with Lois, or no, Superman would have been okay. What do you call it? Clark would have been good with Lois, but I think Superman would have been perfect with Lana.
Yeah,
just for how they were.
Yeah, I know.
They worked with each other. They worked off each other.
Yeah. I think Clark and Lana and Superman and Lois. Yeah. That way around it. Yeah, because
no, the other way. No, because I thought Clark and Lois were very alike. Clark and Lana were very alike, and I always thought the way Clark was such a goof and Lois was such a bad. It was nice to see the woman was the alpha in that sort of a situation.
Yeah. There's an element to swap that as well, though, isn't there? Because if there's Superman who's as powerful as ever needs someone strong to keep him in check, maybe Lois could. So maybe it could work either. It could work. I'm going to take.
But then I suppose we're both talking about the original Lois and Lana. We're forgetting Amy Adams, because Amy. I always thought Amy Adams is that is her name. Amy Adams is her interpretation of Lois. I always thought it did. There was an element of Lana in there, and
maybe it's the redhead.
No, it was just something. While she was badass and she was, independent, there was something like the way Lana was very homely, and she still seemed that way. So I think that's why I like Amy Adams as the heroine, I suppose.
Yeah,
I cannot wait to see her in Enchanted too. Like, if I'm totally honest, totally nowhere near Superman. Like,
I've not seen Enchanted. I should watch it. I don't mind movies.
What? You haven't seen Enchanted? No, it's terribly brilliant. Like,
is it?
I mean, you've got Patrick Dempsey.
Dempsey, yeah.
McDreamy, playing it's a musical, and you've got we'll link to Wolverine, and we'll get the Cyclops, where you've got James
Marsden.
James Marsden. That's the name I was going to say, but I thought that sounded different. You've got him. I think so. It's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Where you've got him, and he's going back to his musical roots, and it's all very, I'm the cheesy prince, and you are the princess, and I'm going to save you. And she's like, I don't really need save now because I'm in the real world, not the fairy tale. It's very clever.
It sounds good.
You need to watch it. We need to have a viewing party.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool.
That'd be pretty awesome. Oh, yeah. Amy, yeah. Could you imagine Henry Cavill turning up in Enchanted too as well? It'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, it's really sad to make me watch it straight off the bat.
Talk about a crossover, for God's sake.
Yeah, I think DC are very sharp to just basically get their characters think, right, it's not working now. We've done this and this to get rid. We're luckily, and it shows the kind of power of modern societies, that we're now in less than 2 weeks, we're going to watch Justice League again, and we're going to watch the Justice League as it was meant to be. Yeah. Now, for me, I'm so nervous because this is my, in terms of like as a DC kind of fan, this is one of my last hopes for getting my version of Batman, my version of Superman that I think they've done perfectly well, to fight alongside the likes of the Marvel guys. And if it bombs, if it's terrible, I think I'll have to hang up the cape or something. I won't. Really
you wouldn't. You'll be loyal. Once DC, always. DC. You always hold out, no matter how much it bombs. It's like you hold out the hope that they can't get worse. It can't.
Yeah, I want 4 hours of entertainment where each of the characters gets their time to kind of shine. That's what I want. Because to see him on screen was just that one thing that was amazing. To see Batman.
I can honestly say, we're saying about giving the only thing I don't think I could give DC a chance for, and it would kill me, is if they kept Dawn Creature in Aquaman 2.
Oh yeah.
That would be my only. I think I would lose some respect for them in that side of things. That would probably be it. No, they confirmed it's not happening. That was all rumor.
What, that last week?
Mm-hmm. All rumor. Something came out afterwards saying no, it's total horseshit. So until DC or whoever the writers are come out and say no, she's not there.
Yeah.
It would just be a shame that would, because they are trying, like you said, they're trying so hard to build up DC, to have that taint it and bring it down would be.
It's a very, very kind of awkward situation with all of it. It's because you kind of. You want to still be able to see a character. It's this whole like Gina Carano thing that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
When you're watching like now I can quite easily kind of dissociate some of the silly comments. I know that there's like any of these type of comments that they always, not, this one wasn't particularly blown out of proportion, but this was all like taken out of context. What she was, there was facts in things she was saying. You just sometimes go to a point where you're thinking, just listen to what you've just said.
Yeah.
We understand you feel oppressed for having a difference of opinion. We're all, like I said, I've always said that one of the biggest lies ever to be told is that freedom of speech exists.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Freedom of speech is only free until it costs you everything. And it wasn't free. It cost you your entire life. We've all been in situations or heard things where people have said something and you've gone, oh, wow, why did you say that? Why did you say that?
Well, see, I can get that. She made a comment, that's fine. She got pulled from the role and she did, but her character is different from her. Well, so I can see where you can see the difference and what she does in her own thing. Yeah. But I think the difference with that is because, and this got deep quick here, but how quickly people, like, you think of Johnny Depp, you think Jack Sparrow straight away. And you know, Johnny Depp's eccentric, but he's not Johnny Depp. He is Jack Sparrow, and that's the end of the conversation. Yeah. But he was so quick to lose his roles on an accusation without any proof. And that's the part I have issue with.
It's strange, and even though, unfortunately, the way it kind of panned out is that the judge threw it out. And when you read through the kind of the notes and stuff, yes, it's press. We always say that you're never getting the truth from the press. You only get the version that sells most. But it was like, there must have been stuff that we didn't hear or see for them to get to the result they did. There's got to be, it's like, it's kind of the whole thing. The thing I hated the most is he was guilty until proven guilty.
Yeah.
He was never innocent in Disney's eyes. Whoop, shot, done, finished. Done, not out the window. No, done. No, done. And then eventually it came round that after like how many years later, there was an element that in court, unfortunately, he was found guilty, which is a massive.
But then he's appealed that. That was all.
That's what I mean. So as it stands right now, for example, as you were saying, like the group of writers that are writing Aquaman have got an innocent woman right now, but Disney instantly shocked when they had an innocent guy prior to the trial. They shocked him, boom, gone straight away. And it's like DC are not doing that with Amber Heard. And it's one of those where kind of rightly so, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
You see what I mean? They shouldn't get rid of her while she's, as it stands now, in the eyes of the law. They shouldn't get rid of her. I don't want to read because the way you can't hear all the story. There's no smoke without fire. Is there? That you know, any mistakes I've made in my life and that stuff I've said and things, and apologize. I know that I've done slight wrong. You know, I'm not a person to say, oh yeah, I never made mistakes. I've said stuff I shouldn't have said. I've said hurtful things and things like that. And probably done things that I kind of not proud of. And I think there'll be elements of that in what happened in their kind of bond.
But what I mean is I don't want it affecting, because like you were saying, DC are trying to rebuild, and that tarnish, you don't want it to pull back the work they're doing. But the thing, with the cause, and I do hope for the sake of cosplay though, people do differentiate her from the character, because I can see it happening, because I know it does, where someone will cosplay an amazing Mera and someone will be like, oh, how can you represent this? It's like, no, I'm not representing the actress, I'm representing the character. So I hope that doesn't make an impact, you know, and if it does, like,
I've heard in the past, like the lad who played Joffrey.
Oh,
he had to. Is it Joffrey, the young kid?
Joffrey from the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. He had to go into hiding.
Tell Cersei it was me.
Yeah, he had to go into hiding.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good actor. Playing that much.
Yeah,
that's a good actor at his age. And it's like, you have to differentiate between people and who they're playing. You know, some people have played Zac Efron, Dreamboat in the Disney singing and all this. He's played a mass murderer. He played a serial killer.
Yeah. And people were like, oh, if Ted Bundy looked like that, I would totally You're like, what? No! No!
That's what people Yeah.
You crazy facts? No.
Yeah, and it's like it's where kind of I think there will always be an element of that. There will always be someone who says, "Oh, you," who will fully stand on the side of Amber Heard, and rightly so if that's what they want to believe in. If, right, you know,
Yeah.
in a way, that's. But they'll be like, "Oh, he's dressed as Jack Sparrow."
Yeah.
If you do the same thing as Johnny Depp,
I think I done a post once. I think I put up a Johnny Depp picture with, I want to see all your Johnny Depp cosplays and stuff like this, or your Jack Sparrow cosplays, or Johnny Depp. I think it was all to do with like Edward Scissorhands and his whole, because he has a plethora of characters that are quite eccentric and great to see.
Amazing.
And literally, someone went on an absolute bash about it. Oh, you're supporting a woman beater. I'm like, what? No, I'm talking about his characters.
It's
not his character as a person,
yes,
but the characters that have been written down for him to portray. And it's like, so I hope people can continue to see the difference between the two and not drag hate, because the community does get shit as it is. Like, the community gets enough crap for being different without adding internal bullshit.
Absolutely. Well, we all know for the fact that we all kind of we do cosplay. And you kind of you don't know what reaction you're going to get.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, down through my cosplay, I've met some of the most incredible people. I've had some of the most incredible experiences of my life. I've met some amazing lifelong friends. I've lost friends, people that I thought were going to be in my life forever for various different reasons, because of kind of, this, that, and this and that. And like, for me, I'll openly admit, anyone that I've lost contact with for anything petty, I'm happy to talk. I'm happy to kind of say, do you know what? If one thing lockdown and this COVID nonsense has proven is that people mean everything. Our experiences with people are what make our lives. You can show me the Statue of Liberty 100 times, but if I was stood there with people I love, it means 100 times more than what it did if it's just a Statue of Liberty. It's not what you do, it's who you do it with.
Yeah, exactly. And even the people who you have lost contact with, everyone you meet on this journey is part of the journey. They've taught you something. They've brought something. Because I know there's been people from my wish group I have over here, and there's still some I'm fiercely close with. And there's some I don't speak to as often, but it's been amazing to watch them grow and progress into different things where meeting me, I'm not saying that meeting me helped them or anything. I don't mean it that way.
It's all about you.
It's all about me. But it's nice to see how cosplay, the link in cosplay, brought out a different avenue. And if you can be part of that to help someone, it sort of brings me around to a bit more fun questions, because we got deep there. So we did, unfortunately. But I want you to tell me, what has been your most fun experience in cosplay?
Ooh.
Oh,
wow, that's a big one.
Ooh.
One of the most surreal moments I've had in cosplay was standing with the Police Academy cast and Rex from Street Hawk, watching two Baywatch girls have a boxing match.
Thank you to me for bringing you in there.
That was one of the most surreal moments of my life.
Angelica Bridges and Brandy Roderick.
Yeah.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
That was a very surreal weekend. I think one of my.
And you got the escort Erica on the stage as well, Erica Eleniak.
What a wonderful human being. To be honest, all the Baywatch girls were fantastic. Yeah. And not just because they were kind of beautiful, but just real, humble, lovely people wanting to engage and talk to you. I've had too many. I'm very fortunate. I think sometimes I have a persona. I've been told this a few times. That I seem like why is this and why is that, or like, even though I don't see people say he's good looking, and it was like, and I've had this persona, and then as soon as someone gets to know me or understands me, they'll know actually I'm just about fun. I don't take myself seriously. Like, one of my next costumes, people will understand just how much I don't take myself seriously. I'll be walking around with a Henry Hoover is one of the options of this costume. So I won't going to say what it is and see if people can work it out. But
hello, Jerry, maybe?
No. It's from an American movie.
Oh.
And he's
So there
cleaning
we
his
go,
room.
guys and gals who are listening and watching. This could be a little game show. Let's guess.
Yeah,
It's Henry Hoover, and Henry Hoover is the clue of a cosplay.
Henry Hoover, and he's cleaning his room. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. So you have to say
oh!
It is. Yeah.
I might know.
You just got it, haven't you? You just got it. Yeah.
I might know, and I think I know, and it'll be a right scream if it's right. But if anyone is listening and hasn't got it yet, have a guess below in the comments. Let us know what you think. So the clue is Henry Hoover, and he's a he, and he's tidying his room with with speech marks and a big wink. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
So I'm going to do 2 versions of him. It was unbelievable that I'd planned.
He would be amazing to have, because he gets into, if it's who I think you're thinking of, he gets into cosplay for the photos.
I started the idea of doing him about 1.5 years ago, and I didn't know.
I'm writing this down.
Yes, because I didn't know how it would be taken, because his character. So I thought, you know what? No, it's not. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not. Oh yes. It's not. It's not. It's not kind of anything horrible towards anybody that's got any kind of disability or anything like that. That's not what it's about. He's just a simple guy. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do it.
Well, it's the fact that he's not. It's the fact that he's not.
He Kaiser Soze. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he Kaiser Soze. Yeah.
So we are talking about the same person. Yes, okay, I get you then.
Yeah. So just a shout is, and then unbelievably, our dual friend Neil puts a post out saying, about getting in potentially. That's like, oh my God, I have to now. I have to do it now.
Yeah.
So
and I'll make sure I'll try and make sure you get walking them on the stage at least.
I never even thought of that for a second. It's one of those where I've got a few I've got 2 vintage costumes that I'm going to do soon. Cartoons, got to be in good shape for one of them, and then I'm going to do an update of Wolverine. And what I've actually got, and then no one's seen yet, I've actually got the Temple of Doom tuxedo.
Oh, amazing!
I've got the Temple of Doom tuxedo to do, and then more of Professor Indy, which it seems to go down so well, and that's with my vintage tweed suit.
That's gonna be good. But we're gonna be wrapping up soon, so I'm gonna sort of like
quick fire questions.
Quick fire questions. I've sort of lost my quick fire questions here, because I'm glad to know who your favorite cosplay. And that's one thing I will say, that I work at Monopoly, and we all work with Monopoly and stuff, and there's other conventions too, but it has been amazing to see you on stage with some of the guests. It's something amazing, and I love that that's something offered and stuff like that there. But I'll give you a clue to who I might be cosplaying. I might be, I'm doing a new cosplay, and Ben is also helping me with one.
Right.
But I'm wearing, like, I don't know if you can see, it's like a little badge from, the DigiPin Monopoly do. Woohoo!
Oh,
it's a white Power Ranger, but obviously I'm not going to do the Jason David Frank one. I'm going to do the Pink Ranger.
How are you going to do the Pink Ranger?
Yeah. Need to get my suction underwear on from a Buddha belly and all, but I'll be fine.
Suction underwear.
Yeah, but the good thing is, what are you most excited about conventions coming back this year?
Friends.
Hopefully they will. I'm speaking positively. They will. What are you most excited about?
Seeing people. I honestly, it's very strange I don't mean this in a bad way towards Comic Cons at all. I love Comic Cons. I want to see, I hope that the funds come back for Comic Cons to kind of push movie props, movie sets. I think there's one Comic Con that I never went to. I was traveling, and they had the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. So imagine to have a photograph sat on that. Just, it's mind blowing. I think Monopoly once did the X-Wing, blew me away. Ed 209, just unbelievable to see Ed 209 there. And I think for me, I go to see something that I can't see anywhere else.
Yeah.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Sets where you walk onto the sets, seeing.
Like the Lost Boys set was amazing. The Saw sets were full of a horror cracker. They were just.
Set was just phenomenal. You can put your head in this and do that. And I think it's one of those where someone said to me, like, "Oh, if you're going to do a,"
because there was 2. There was the Saw bathroom, I think, by Hot Property, and then there was the prop where you could put your head in the actual. And that was
further around for the horror.
Oh, what did you call it? Jack's Prop Shack or something, or I'm gonna have to remember that now. Who done
that? I'm terrible with stuff like that.
Yeah, Neil will know. Neil, if you're watching, that's who.
It's just nice, and like for me, like I built an R2D2. I build a load of my props. Like I've got collections. Like I've got one-to-ones just to show you how big Christopher Reeve actually was. Look,
my goodness,
compared to me.
You have a tiddly widdly pea head compared to his.
Absolutely.
But this is the thing. This would be a quick question. It'd be good, and it would be sort of a good one for any convention organizer sort of listen into.
Yeah.
If there was no celebrity at a Comic-Con for the first year until travel and all, would you and people still go? And what would be the drawing factor, I suppose? Totally out of the blue question there, but
I genuinely think you could give somebody a warehouse and say, come in cosplay, see your friends, have a few drinks, here's some food, and you'd fill it.
Yeah, that's what if cosplay is given its right shout out, especially, it would be
absolutely. Cosplay is you've got to understand. It's like basically giving an artist a paintbrush and paints. That's what cosplay is. You don't have cons without cosplay.
No,
you don't. It's cosplayers are what make you cons. I've said plenty of times. I've been to certain cons, huge kind of big name cons, and sat in a Weatherspoons type of Weatherspoons and sat in a Weatherspoons, but having a few drinks, surrounded by 200 cosplayers, like I'm at a fancy dress party with friends.
Yeah,
everyone, wow, love that costume. Oh, we can't speak to him, but they're not speaking to us, or all that kind of childish stuff. And just this being around people that
just get a couple of photographers, a couple of videographers, honestly, and you could have movie reenactments and all sorts of shit going on.
I've said one of the most surreal moments of my life was watching I Still Believe, side of the stage, Keith Lemon, Spencer,
Wilder.
Few of the Lost Boys, just stood there thinking, I'm watching one of the most iconic moments of one of my favorite films, surrounded by people going crazy. I was like, this is Comic-Con. It's not so much about the stuff you can buy. I know there's plenty of people out there that are trying to sell stuff, and I really, really feel for. And anyone that if you've ever bought something from Comic-Con, buy something from one of those stores online, because they're not doing anything. And I really, really, really passionately believe that. But Comic-Cons are experiences with people like that. My experience with Short Round, my experience stood backstage, thanks to you completely, and I'm not with Elijah Wood. And because of the COVID was kind of in and about there, we had to wait 20 minutes. What do you talk? Me and Elijah Wood sat there talking. You think talking to Elijah Wood? Oof, mind completely blown.
Totally normal day,
Yeah, just how are you? So how did you find? Yeah, oh man, he killed it. And just hearing him speak and swear, it's like, I know. This and I was like, unreal, just absolutely incredible moments. And I think every one of them moments doesn't exist without experiencing it with someone. It doesn't exist. So give cosplayers a place to go and now go. If someone said to you, like, I genuinely believe if someone said there's a warehouse in the middle of Chester now and it's going to have 20 photographers taking pictures of people, it's going to have a food shack and place you can get drinks and disco, would you fill it? I absolutely know I would.
Yeah.
I know
definitely.
I would.
And if the space is for like 100 people, so what? Bring 50.
Yeah.
So it's keeping with the safety, it's keeping with the restrictions, but it's getting us back out there. So Andy, if you're listening, mate, give us a warehouse. Give us a warehouse.
I want to be able to sit on like motorbikes from movies and sit in cars and go on the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon or have a photograph taken in an X-Wing or a TIE fighter in front of a TIE fighter. For me, I want to feel for that moment that I'm in that. Yeah. I'm in the movie.
And that the outside world and the outside craziness is not existing anymore for that moment. That's what matters about it, I think. That's what needed. Absolutely. But no, thank you very much. It's been interesting to hear that you would definitely still go to a convention even if there were no celebrities. That was good. Because I would because I can talk. Would I if there was done. It's a good thing. It's great to meet your heroes, but sometimes it's the people that make it the difference. Yeah.
And I think I've said for ages, I went to the Harry Potter tour. It was amazing. I don't think it had any pictures because I'm
Yeah.
So here's me in a match. So this is me. And so my son, I've got a brilliant picture of my son in the middle of Gringotts Bank on his own because there wasn't a lot of people there. But would I want to go and then meet a celebrity, stand this far apart, both of them mask on for a photograph? No, I wouldn't.
No.
I can't hand you this because I can't sign it. You want to interact with humans. The interaction with humans needs to come back.
Yeah.
Yes, safely, of course. I'm not an idiot, but
at least for this year, if there was no celebrities, it wouldn't be the greatest loss. It would get us back in there. But then if next year it was back to normal, that's great. But I do think there'd be a chance for cosplay to be back this year. I do, and I swear to God, I cannot wait.
Driving cosplay and cosplayers, and giving us a chance, us geeks, nerds, geekettes, the whole lot, giving us a place to be ourselves again.
Yeah.
Not stuck in the same four walls. You're gonna win.
Definitely. Sure, well, at least for tonight with BanterFlix and myself, you've got into your Indiana Jones cosplay, and with Healthbox, you'll be getting out more. So on that,
can't wait for that.
On that note, Steve, I am going to thank you very, very much. And
thank you for having me. I'm sorry
all
if I rambled
of our listeners. No, it's fine. We're talking about important stuff. Blame the rum. I blame the Lucasades. So you know.
Oh, me,
but
yeah, me
I think I'll have a new, there's no drama here with Wish Mama. So yay. But thank you very, very much. And I will see everybody next Fortune and Glory. But next month I will see you all again with another cosplayer. This time it'll be a female. Might be some clues on the page as time goes, but for now, let us know how you enjoyed this. And I will see you all soon.
See you soon, guys.